Hey, you there. Don't you want to create melodies using your imagination? Well, I've got you covered. In this video, I will be showing you the method to making melodies using your imagination. It might require just a tiny bit of experience with hearing the notes, but you don't need that much. This is for people who've just randomly placed notes around, hoping it sounds good. This is a bad thing if you're making a theme song, because you're gonna have to have some sort of imaginative process if you want to actually get the thing right. You have to be able to hear the notes in your head. So that's the downside of this method. But part of this method doesn't require you to use your imagination. Be able to hear the notes. You just need to imagine this one thing. You need to be able to imagine a string. Yup, a string. Look it up on Google. If you don't know what a string is, I'll look it up right now. Like, literally, right now. A string. Just imagine a string and bend it. Bend parts of it. Create different shapes with it. And that's basically how we're going to be creating motifs and melodies in this video. So you want to create melodies like this. You're going to have to use your imagination. Yup. Because this was created using my imagination. This isn't just for piano roll users. This is for piano users also. Or MIDI keyboard users. So let's get right into a different file, where we will be using our MIDI keyboard. No, I don't have that much experience with an instrument, but I have kind of figured out a way to create melodies. So let me do a couple examples. So I'm gonna imagine a motif that starts on D and ends on F. So I'm just gonna randomly do this. That was the most simplest thing. Just imagine the note, where it starts and where it ends. That's all you need to do. And you can create like a bunch of random melodies just from that, if you're using a MIDI keyboard. And if you're lost like playing random notes, just keep imagining a string. Just a string on your MIDI keyboard or piano. Imagine the notes as strings. Imagine the layout, right? I want you to imagine a layout, because that's basically what I'm doing. Is that I'm imagining which note starts, which note the melody starts on, or the motif, and where does it end. you know, maybe one day I'll teach about tonic notes. Now, those are very, tonic notes are very context wise. You can't really tell what is a tonic note. Since every note is a tonic, you can't really tell. There's no specific note that's a tonic note. But that knowledge is really not important. It will be in the future if you're trying to make serious melodies. Serious melodies being that melodies that have meaning to them. If you want to have like melodies that have meaning to them, you should use your imagination when creating a melody instead of just randomly playing notes. Because when you randomly play notes, you're not going to get anywhere. But when you use your imagination, you're going to end up creating something with value. Because you're using your brain power. You have an actual process of how it was made, which allows you to memorize what you made easier than if you were to like do this. Now do that or do this. You know, basic. All I did was imagine where the starting note and where the ending note is. And the rest is kind of just me on autopilot. You know, I do have enough experience playing with the MIDI keyboard that it isn't just random, but also at the same time it kind of is. But it's just me on autopilot. I just know which notes I have to avoid. Even with the white keys, there are some notes that kind of sound iffy when played after each other. Like for example, this. No, not this. This. Yeah, G and D kind of sound weird when they play after each other. Or like G and C. The more distant the note is from another note, the more weirder it would sound. Alright, I don't know how to play with chords and the melody at the same time, but I'll try. It's kind of, it's not like guaranteed that you will end up creating something that you will like, but it's better than nothing, you know what I mean? The better you get at it, the more potential you see in the method. This was also created using the starting note, the starting note and the ending note method. You just gotta imagine a string. Imagine a string on your MIDI keyboard, or imagine it in piano roll. I prefer piano roll because it's actually easier. Doing it on MIDI keyboard or a piano does not seem very wiseful. It seems very more difficult because, yeah. Alright, this type of melody is more supposed to be a bridge, or like a hallway to the next melody. So, yeah. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna place one note and place another note here. There's a reason why this is easier than using your MIDI keyboard or a piano. Because you don't know, you know where you end up at, but you don't know how you got there. Unless you use 100% of your imagination and imagine the notes, each and every note that's being played. Yeah, that's gonna be difficult. That's for like expert, imaginative users of the piano or MIDI keyboard or piano roll. But right now I'm imagining a string, a long string in the middle, and it does this, and you go up and down. I can already hear the melody. Make this a little bit longer. Da, 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 da. Alright. This is exactly what I imagined in my head. See, it looks like a bridge. I could alter this a little bit if I wanted to. But, so basically you just want to imagine the ending and the starting note of a motif or a melody. And you get this. It's not the best example, but as you do this more, you'll get better at it and stuff. So it's in a G this time. And this time we'll have like... Alright, see how it loops? We're gonna change that by doing this. We don't want to introduce the high note because A is considered a high note, mostly because it's like the second highest note, and you know D and C are the second two of the lowest notes. A and B are the two of the highest notes. So you usually want to be playing in the middle, and you want to like kind of transition into the high notes, into the low notes by getting closer to them instead of just being like this. You don't want to do this. It's gonna sound weird like this. Yep. So you want to do this. Since it's close to each other, it's gonna sound like that. Now we're gonna have a short pause here. Dun dun. Dun dun. Oh yeah, the dun dun. Okay, see? I imagine what it sounded like before I placed the note down. That's what you need to be doing if you want to like the melodies that you want to make. It's just don't randomly place notes, or your brain will never make anything that it wants. Your brain will never make anything that it wants because you're just creating this bad habit of just not using your brain. Once you create this bad habit of not using your brain to create melodies, then every melody will sound random and have no meaning. What you want to do is basically you just want to just sit here and just try to imagine. Try to imagine. Some people can't even imagine anything, and they click on this video, they're just like, they just go to the comments. Well, I can't imagine anything. Well, how am I supposed to do this method? Well, I don't know. Get good, I guess. Well, anyways, I guess this method is not for everyone. And if you can't imagine the notes, eventually you should be able to. Just imagine the lower notes and the high notes. And the middle notes, the G, F, and E keys are kind of the middle notes. So that's how you know what notes to avoid. I mean, what notes are the low notes and what notes are the high notes. When you have a melody in your head, that's how you know if you like. So let's see, for example, you imagine so that includes a high note right here, somewhere around here. It could be B or A, I don't know. Da 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 da. Dun, 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 dun. So it could be G, F, or E as the middle notes. Those are called middle tones. When you imagine the dun 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 dun, those sound like middle tones. And dun dun, and the dun could be sounding like it could be sounding like the lowest notes, the two lowest notes, the D or the C. Dun 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 I'm just gonna place random notes in the middle. It's gonna sound weird, but I tried. Actually, it sounds like the lowest note. That's what I imagine. And it was short. Right now we're just practicing. Alright, back to the stream method. I'm kind of goofing around. This video is going to be quite long. 30 minutes. But it's worth watching, because, you know, yeah. Alright, now I imagine a string. Usually I don't imagine 2-bar phrases. I mean 2-bar motifs. But just for the video, I'm just gonna do that. Ending on a high note is kind of weird, but we bowl. So right now I'm imagining a string. Alright. Let me cook. Alright, now I imagine these are low notes and this will go up here. Typical stuff. Actually, it's gonna jump here and it's gonna go up. So jump here, jump here, jump here, jump there, and do that. Yep. See, I imagined it before I actually placed the notes. That's a strat. No, you could constantly do this over and over and over until you get good at it. This may not be the best sounding melodies, but I've created better melodies sounding way better than this. Let me show you. Let me just give you some good examples that I have created out of pure imagination. And this. See how it sounds like it was created out of imagination and not just randomly placing notes? You know, this is the type of melody that you can create if you just use your imagination. Before placing notes randomly, just imagine what the notes sound like. If you can't, then just imagine what the notes look like on piano roll without actually hearing it, but you know, kind of get an idea of what it sounds like, but not at the same time. I know it's tough, but skill issue if you can't. Just saying. Yeah. Back to let me show you another melody that I made using my imagination. This one. Yeah. We're gonna create one more melody out of my imagination. That was that was just a 2 bar. That's not even a melody. Even though melodies can be 2 bars, they can be 4, they can be 8, they can be 16, they could be 17 or 18. Actually, yeah. But anything but EDP. But yeah. G. Okay, let's not randomly place notes. Okay, we started on the same note and ended on the same note before, so let's do this a little bit differently. Ended on start on the same note and end on the same note, and let's make it a longer note, like this. All right, I'm trolling. Actually, let's end it on the third beat. End on the third beat because my favorite number is 3. If you don't know, my favorite number is actually 3. So might as well. Okay. So we're gonna imagine the same melody that we created before, and do this. I remember exactly what it looks like. It looks something like this. This is. Alright, that's kind of cheating because I literally just copied what I remembered from the Getting Serious song. You know how it does. I just basically copied what it sounded like. I mean, what it looked like on piano roll. It's kind of easy. You just imagine, like, it looks like a dick. A dick with 2 balls. This is the first ball, and this is the second ball. And this is this is, I don't know what this is. This looks like a blade. Yeah, just imagine strings, and that's it. Usually the last note of a motif is a long note. So watch this. Let's do this. We're gonna copy paste. I know what the D note sounds like exactly. I know that the D note is usually where I end. See, I know exactly what it sounded like before I place the note. I just know it's gonna resolve on the D note, because the D note is usually the best note to resolve on for some reason. It's called the D note version. It's It sounds like an alteration of the melody. Let me show you right now. It sounds like an alteration of this. But it kind of works though. Just use your imagination and you can create variations of your own melody. Kind of cool, right? One day I will teach you guys how to spice up your melodies, not make it sound like a loop. You want to just, if you want to avoid like making loops and actually make a melody with depth to it, make a melody that has depth to it, you just have to, you need to be good at editing. because basically all you're doing is repeating the same melody or motif, and you're changing it, you know. Or you could add new ideas to the melody and have that as like a secondary idea. And there's a main idea to the melody, and there's a secondary idea to the melody. Let me show you. Let me do an example real quick. Real quick before I end the video. I know exactly what that sounded like. The D note is my favorite note to end on. Dun, 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 dun. It's all in the imagination. All in the imagination. If you imagine what the notes sound like, you can literally create any melody you want to. You know? This isn't just some talent thing. Talent doesn't exist. Talent is not a real thing. Alright? I don't believe in talent. You know, I will stress this enough in the future and stuff. I don't believe in talent. I believe in experience, time, and skill. Those three things is what makes up everything you need to know about literally anything that you want to be good at. Is skill, time, and experience. Those three things is all you need to know in order to get good at anything. Literally anything. It could be art, music, your favorite game. I don't care. I'm going to end the video right here. And thanks for watching. Goodbye.